Ramel Keyton, former Tennessee wide receiver, is coming back to Tennessee, to the Tennessee Titans, and he is replacing effectively Treylon Burks, a former first-round draft pick by the Tennessee Titans. And I'm going to try not to get into too much of a Titans fan rant about this, because look, I'm very happy for Ramel. You don't see very many Vols on the Titans roster just historically. I mean, I'm just trying to think back. Obviously, Albert Haynesworth is one of the biggest ones, literally. Justin Hunter is he's one of the last ones I can remember. And it's certainly the last wide receiver I can remember that played for the Titans. They come every now and again, but they're not around often. But I think ultimately, for some people, not everybody, it is something that can help draw you in and make you a little bit more interested in your local professional team. And maybe that's the case with Keyton. Obviously, he's going to have to go through training camp and cuts and whatnot, which is something we'll also keep an eye on for you guys here in the next month as all that stuff is getting ready to happen. I believe the Hall of Fame game is either this week or next. I forget which one, but it's coming up on us. It's coming up on us here in just a little bit. But what I hate is that he is replacing a guy that replaced a guy that could have been the franchise's best receiver. And we were told Treylon Burks is going to be this next big thing, and he only played, I think, 12 games in a 3 or 4 year period. He had 699 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. That wasn't even a touchdown catch. It was a fumble recovery in the end zone from Derrick Henry. He essentially had 1 good game against the Packers and then just peaced out. So, again, very happy for Ramel, but and I, in a way, I am glad even more so that this era of stupidity is over with the Titans. At least it seems like. But maybe he gets involved this year. I know Tennessee drafted a lot of receivers. Chimdike from Florida is one. Alec Iamaner, another one from Stanford that is one that I'm hoping ends up being a really good player for Tennessee. But good to see Ramel getting a shot after he had a fairly nice training camp for the Raiders last season, despite not making the roster.
Yeah, and I was looking up his stats because, as you know, I don't really keep up with the NFL as much as I do with college, and it doesn't seem like Ramel Keyton's gotten too much playing time. But I mean, it is exciting to see him back at Tennessee, and of course, I'm not a Titans fan. I'm notoriously a Colts fan. Every Titans fan here, please don't hate me. But
well, here's the thing: a lot of the Tennessee fans that are probably watching this were Peyton fans when he was with the Colts, so it's okay.
Yeah, and I will say, when Peyton Manning was going through the whole free agency thing and everything like that, I was really hoping that he was going to go to the Titans, even though I am a Colts fan. I mean, I thought it'd be cool for him to be back in Nashville, but I mean, I don't know, outsiders looking in, when I knew that the Titans traded AJ Brown away for Treylon Burks, I honestly didn't know what was going on. I don't know how Titans fans viewed it. Honestly, I was going to ask you how you felt about the whole, yeah. I figured.
We all felt that, Jordan. Some people point to different points, a few different points as the beginning of the end for what was a decent run for the Titans. You can point to the wild card round against the Ravens in the 2020 playoffs, or the following season is what a lot of people point to when they lost to the Bengals in the divisional round. That and trading A.J. Brown away for Treylon Burks are probably the two that you could argue were that really marked the downfall of that organization. So, again, happy for Ramel Keyton, but
yeah.
that was a very, very difficult era of Titans football to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I was there at the Titans practices pretty much every Wednesday because I used to intern for one of the local radio or news stations in Nashville, and that was a big topic a lot of time, outside the offensive line, because I know the Titans offensive line was struggling during the time. I mean, besides the offensive line, Traylon Burks was a big hot button topic for Tennessee. And like, you know, he's dealt with his injuries and stuff like that. And let me ask you this, because I haven't looked into it too much. Was it non-contact? Did he seriously like break his collarbone just reaching up for a one-handed catch and no one like touched him?
I think it was Jordan.
That's insane.
He's just so fragile. And like, he was a versatile player at Arkansas. I don't know if he was a first round pick worthy player at Arkansas, but you know, I was hoping he would be more than he was. I didn't expect him to be the next AJ Brown, but the crazy thing is he's not even the worst of the Titans' first round picks, because before that you had Caleb Farley, who I think he may have only played 12 games. I think I might be confusing that with Traylon Burks, but Caleb Farley, they knew he was having back problems when he was at Virginia Tech, and they still drafted him anyway, knowing he wasn't going to be able to play much. And he's still not even the worst one. The worst one was old Isaiah Wilson, who played like 2 snaps at tackle, but got in trouble for going who knows how much over the speed limit in Georgia, as they do, and then doing donuts over in Broadway. So, yeah, that ended his career here pretty quickly. And then last I heard, he was with the Giants, and I think this is legit. He got in trouble with the Giants for stealing cafeteria food and refusing to run laps.
It's wild. It's unfortunate, honestly, because, you know, I don't hate the Titans at all. I mean, I like good competition. Like, you know, Titans are putting up a fair fight with the Colts for a minute there, and everything, which, you know, you like to see. But sad situation of Traylon Burks, honestly, like all the pressure that was put on him, and then, you know, like the injury after injury, and then, you know, having to be compared to AJ Brown, which is not a fair comparison whatsoever. Since he's like one of the best receivers in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, at least Ramel Keyton seemingly is finally going to get his shot to prove himself on an NFL roster, since he didn't really get much time playing with the Raiders. I mean, who knows what happens with roster cuts and everything like that. But it is good seeing a former Volunteer get an opportunity for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, his career was a little bit of a roller coaster at Tennessee, I guess you could say. I had a nice second year, and you were hoping he'd take a big jump in his final season under Heupel, and that did not happen. And some of that could be attributed to quarterback play, but also I just think he had some issues with drops as well, and that was a little bit problematic for Tennessee. But you just never know with the NFL. I've come to realize, and he could very well make the cut at Tennessee. It's possible, because I just look around at some of the guys that have come out of Tennessee lately, and the name that comes out that jumps out to me that made it last year onto an NFL roster that I was not expecting to at all was Jalen McCullough. He never really shined at Tennessee, I wouldn't say. But he ended up being like one of the best rookies all camp for the Rams. And suddenly he's like one of their diamonds in the rough that they found going into the 2024 season. So maybe that happens with Ramel Keyton. You never know. You really never know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot of Tennessee players that like didn't necessarily shine too much at Tennessee. Like, I think we mentioned some of them before, like end up becoming successful in the NFL. Like, I mean, Shy Tuttle, like I thought he was a little bit of a disappointment at Tennessee. And then I think he was starting for the Saints at one point. And, you know, a lot of like defensive backs that like, I'm forgetting names off the top of my head, but I remember like one of them, I don't even remember seeing him play all too much at Tennessee. Like he was like a rotational corner, and then he ended up starting in the NFL for a bit. I wish I could remember the name, but like, yeah, like you said, you never know in the NFL, and maybe Ramel Keyton, you know, gets some playing time and maybe ends up being successful. Maybe fix the drops issue too, because that was one thing that drove me mad back in the day. But you never know.